As traditional paper currency dissolves, a global shift is occurring. The demand for AI processing power is accelerating faster than any commodity in history. Historically, monetary systems required discipline because they were tied to physical scarcity, like gold. Since 1971, that tangible backing has vanished, leaving traditional fiat with no limit on its supply and a steady decline in its value. Today, processing power, or compute, is the raw material of the 21st century. It generates intelligence, secures networks, and is rapidly scaling toward a trillion-dollar market. It is a productive asset with verifiable, hard scarcity. But right now, almost all of that raw material is being hoarded. A few massive cloud monopolies restrict access, dictate market prices, and strictly throttle the global supply. When a handful of corporations control the one resource every industry needs to function, it creates a systemic bottleneck. It chokes technological and economic advancement at the exact moment it needs to scale. The irony is, we don't actually have a compute shortage. Billions of consumer laptops, desktops, and enterprise servers already exist, yet they sit completely idle up to 75% of the time. This underutilization is a massive economic blind spot. There is vast processing potential sitting dormant in high-end modern machines, as well as older hardware powered down on desks worldwide. While cloud monopolies build new data centers, they cannot match the combined processing power of billions of devices already in consumer hands. Networking this scale of hardware creates a compute volume that centralized providers simply cannot restrict. Activating this hardware creates a parallel economic system. It acts as the literal minting process for the new currency of compute, democratizing access. Wnode is the decentralized compute mesh that serves as the infrastructure for this new economy. It operates as a people-powered, highly distributed alternative to traditional web services. When a client submits a job, Wnode's AI evaluates requirements, like CPU speed, memory, and location. It automatically pings the global grid, finding the optimal node. Without human intervention, it creates an instant handshake between the client and the host node. By routing tasks in the background, everyday consumers transition from passive hardware owners into the active revenue-generating backbone of a decentralized cloud. The obvious hurdle for a distributed network is safety. Clients need to know their sensitive enterprise data and complex AI workloads are secure when processed on a complete stranger's laptop. Wnode solves this through a strict zero-trust security model. The host machine is never trusted. Instead, every assigned task is strictly confined within an isolated software sandbox or a secure microcontainer. This enables RAM-only execution. The job enters the host's temporary memory, processes the required data, and vanishes entirely. It never writes a single file to the host's hard drive or touches their operating system. Before the job is officially finalized, the computational outputs undergo cryptographic verification. The system mathematically proves the work was completed correctly without tampering. Because the execution is entirely ephemeral and trustless, there is absolutely zero data retention. Eliminating centralized data storage makes the mesh structurally safer than traditional server farms. For the people running the nodes, known as nodlers, the incentive is straightforward. They provide their idle hardware and are directly compensated for the exact compute they contribute to the network. Rather than forcing users to navigate convoluted crypto exchanges to cash out volatile tokens, Wnode uses a fiat-first payment structure. Node operators get paid directly in standard US dollars. The onboarding process requires a 3-click setup, accessible to absolutely anyone, requiring no technical expertise to start running a node. Removing technical hurdles and financial friction is the catalyst required to push a decentralized platform past early adopters, allowing it to scale virally and achieve mass global adoption. Historically, legacy economies and early web networks suffer the same fate. They are hijacked by concentrated wealth, allowing corporate entities to dictate the rules. Wnode uses a constitution to block corporate capture. It is a strict socio-technical framework embedded directly into the network's code, protecting the operators. The core immutable provision of this network is one soul equals one vote. Governance power is permanently tied to verified human identity, not token holdings or server capacity. The system places a strict barrier between commercial utility and political power. You can accumulate massive revenue by running thousands of nodes, but that financial wealth cannot buy a single ounce of protocol influence. Tying network power exclusively to verified human participation creates an infrastructure immune to hostile financial takeovers. Bypassing the cloud monopolies also delivers an ecological advantage. It eliminates the need to construct power-hungry, centralized data centers to meet the world's processing demands. Relying strictly on the devices humanity already owns removes massive amounts of electronic waste and heavy infrastructure overhead from the digital economy. As traditional currencies face inflationary pressure, capital is migrating towards assets with verifiable utility. Compute is emerging as a primary unit of this new value, decentralized, productive, and independent of central bank policy. Wnode serves as the infrastructure for this transition. Here, processing power belongs to everyone. Privacy is guaranteed by code, and human identity holds ultimate authority.